Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more WarFrame action, and today we're going to be talking about the Exploiter fight. So the Exploiter orb oh, what the hell was that? Okay, the Exploiter fight is the second of the Orb Mother fights. The first one, of course, being the Profit Taker. So, yeah. And the Exploiter fight, I think, is easily the best non-raid boss fight that I have ever come across in a looter shooter. So what do we mean by that? First off, looter shooter, I am going to be referring specifically to bosses in the WarFrame game and Destiny 1 and 2. Non-raid boss means obviously we're not going to be comparing her to things like Law of Retribution, Jorda's Verdict, and King's Fall, and the Vault of Glass, because those fights are obviously way more interesting, but they are raid bosses, so it is in their nature to be way more interesting than a regular good old-fashioned Orb Mother fight. Now, there's quite a lot of reasons why the Orb Mother fight is so good, and I'll try to get through them sporadically throughout this video. But the first thing is the lore. You can see just from what Yudiko and Rudzud are saying, there's quite a lot of pretty interesting relationship information between the people of Solaris United and the Exploiter Orb herself. Now, we've just skipped through a bunch of it, so that's a little bit annoying, but whatever. Now, here comes the big boy herself, the big girl herself, I guess. Okay, so let's see.
Children, the winter chill invigorates our character and fortifies our...
Now, who have we got here today? We've got an Excalibur, Umbra, and Oberon, and an Inaros, and here I am running around as the good old-fashioned Golden Arrow herself, Mag Prime. Now, one of the things I also really like about this boss is that you actually don't need to use specific warframes in order to play her. So in a lot of the other big encounters that you may come across, especially in this game, you're going to need something like Chroma to do a lot of damage. You're going to need something like Trinity to keep everyone alive, Oberon to also keep everyone alive, Vault if you're wanting to use operators, because he will increase operator damage. Whereas with this fight, you don't actually need any of that. Oh, I'm dead. You don't need any of that. The only thing you need is probably something a little bit tanky enough to not die immediately to that laser turret, because that laser turret does do a lot of damage, which I think it actually does potentially a bit too much damage, actually. So that's probably one of the problems that I have with this particular fight, but obviously if it didn't do a ton of damage, I guess it wouldn't be even remotely challenging, so fair enough. Like, it's not a big problem, it's not a make or break kind of thing for me. It's just that it makes it more difficult, and you therefore have to be way more careful with your positioning. Oh my, did I miss? I missed. I need energy. Ah! Alrighty. No. No. No, I shouldn't have thrown it.
Do your thing.
Now, you don't necessarily need to bring a particular weapon for this fight either, much as say you don't need to bring a specific warframe. You don't need to bring a specific weapon for this fight as well. You can get by this fight using Xenoid Gamma Core, Solar Prime. When was the last time you guys used Solar Prime? Think about it. I'm getting fine. I'll be fine using a bow, because there are parts of this particular encounter that you will probably want to use something like a bow. Probably want to bring a sword and shield as well. And as you can see, for the most part, we're not exactly just going through endless DPS waves or DPS phases. We're actually like trying to find, we're actually just trying to throw something in order to break some shields. So instead of breaking the shields through just nothing but pure raw damage, much the same way that it does with, and much the same way that it is with, what is it, Profit Taker. We're trying to throw something in order to open up the shields.
Oh yeah. Now she's sweating. Now she's sweating.
Now she's sweating.
Mother requests the pleasure of your company.
Hey. Why is my aim so bad? If you find that your aim is as bad as mine today, perhaps bring something like Optical Vandal. Don't necessarily need to get headshots, I guess, because my bow is really powerful now. This.
Come, children. It is a fine day to visit the city.
I just really like the voice of the Exploiter Orb, that sort of 18th century British mother. Children must be heard. Wait, no. Children must be told what to think, not how to think. Look at me while I'm speaking to you. It's great. It's so good. Oh, some of the best. Not dialogue necessarily, but like some of the best lines in a boss fight, at least. I really like it, as opposed to the strange, I'm guessing not meaningless gibberish that the Prophet Taker says, or like the variously meaningless lines that are spoken by literally every strike boss in Destiny, and even some of the pretty hilarious lines of Lord Tilrega. No, I think Exploiter Orb has some of the best lines of any boss fight in the game, in any of the games, in fact.
thin air. I think shall do me good.
And I suspect that, like, some of the lines, even though they don't sound like they should, they probably have some meaning in the lore. Right? As opposed to, like, fashion victims will become murder victims. Like, what the bloody hell does that mean?
Don't let those arachnoids cool her off. Keep the
Now,
heat
right
on.
now we need to stop the arachnoids. So we're not even doing DPS to her, we're just doing DPS to her children.
Watch it. She's fracturing the terrain.
Tell me and we'll make it quick. What were their names?
Okay, guess that fractures Gonskis. Obviously, we need a quick boost in speed. And then in a second, we are going to demonstrate one of the best things about this particular fight. A second. The cutscene! There is not a single strike boss that I'm aware of in Destiny that has a cutscene. None of the bosses in this game have a cutscene, aside from the reveal cutscene. This fight has literal God of War drag that guy's head off his neck cutscenes, man. This is fantastic. And it just makes this fight so much more entertaining. Now I don't know if I accidentally missed the dialogue because I was just yammering and talking about this fight whilst fighting the Orb Mother. But Rude Zud has some pretty rude, violent language in this particular fight. Something like, you know, I don't know. Something like calling the children so that she can know what it feels like to watch them die. Like, oh, that's some like almost villain tier dialogue right there. I wonder. Whee! I don't even know where that went.
Shall be an example.
Gonna need more thermia.
The sun is literally in my eyes. Oh, side note, another thing that this fight has over the Terrorists and Prophet Taker, there's no magnetic procs in this fight. That is so useful because magnetic procs in a boss fight are like ludicrously stupid.
Mother needs her medicine.
Stop
There are
those
heat
spiders.
procs. There's plenty of heat procs to go around, but heat procs do not like destroy all of your energy. Now I don't know if we have another Orb Mother left. Someone's using their Arcwing. That is bleeding. Oh. So yeah, for those wondering, the blood trail that's going on Yeah, the blood trail that's going on around me is the bleeding ephemera. It's the one that you can get from arbitration by literally buying it. It's the easiest to get.
Bringing in refined coolant. Don't let them reach the
I don't know
orb.
if this. I don't know if it's intended to be like the throw, the what the throw? No, the compensation for it being the easiest to get, but it sometimes doesn't work. It sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes I can't see it, but my allies can, and they'll be like, "Dude, what's up with the blood trail?" I'm like, "What? What? You can see it?" Sometimes it doesn't work. Now it looks like I don't even need to shoot the canister anymore. I think that might be a bug. I'm not 100% sure. This guy. He's gone full on coolant arachnoid duty. Looks like I'm on canister duty. Someone's on DPS duty, specifically when you yeah, see. I don't know, I'll continue throwing it.
Nothing shall replace a child's love for them.
Sealed.
Arachnoids, bringing in refined coolant. Don't let them reach the orb.
Damn, I would have come and saved his ass. So this third part, it does take a bit of time. You do have to do it quite a few times, as opposed to the other two. Like the first two sections of this particular fight, or this particular part of the fight, I guess. But not long now. Now we just need some cooler arachnoids. Oh, there we go. Now she's burning up. Now, when you're in that ring of fire, you actually can't get out and you slowly lose health and shields. Now is the final DPS section. We're nearly done. 20-minute fight, not particularly long. You can use whatever weapon you want. You do a lot of damage. There we go. Now keep an eye on the bottom of the screen because we're about to see some pretty magical stuff.
Before she goes critical.
You see that? At the bottom? You see all of that? That is some truly magical shenanigans right there. And now we go home. Oh, don't get nuked though! Don't get nuked!
She's down. Zood? You did it! Zood? Zood, you okay?
Score was paid. Debt settled. Slates clear.
You remember them. That's all that matters.
I remember us. You knew us. You know.
Where the bloody hell we got? Where the bloody hell am I?
We've never forgotten.
I'm lost.
Me.
Central
Biz,
Intel. Oh no, that way.
and
Yep,
us.
over there.
We had a name. Our name was Zood. The Zood. Thank you. Yeah? Don't get used to it. The lot of you.
Okay, so I'm not sure how many of the things I wanted to say I've actually said. So, no. Okay, so let's just go through the list of things that I've already written down about this fight. So the pros are, it's not a bullet sponge. We've seen this just by like how the boss fight works altogether. It's more of a sponge on the thermia. It's more of a thermia sponge, not a bullet sponge. It's a thermia sponge. And secondly, you know, you don't have to use something like a high-powered sniper rifle. You don't have to use chroma. You can use Soma Prime, or Optical Vandal, Super Vandal, bows, anything you want. So long as it actually does damage, you can use any weapon you want. It's perfectly fine. Secondly, it can be completed using other warframes and weapons, like I just said. Awesome. Number 3, it requires different mechanics, and you're mostly using those other mechanics in order to win this particular fight, throwing the thermia at the exploiter orb. Fourth thing is the very entertaining personality. I've already explained that. The 18th century British motherly figure, the lines, just fantastic. I really like all of it. I'm actually going to jump out of that right now. Hang on, do I hold on to my last mission results? Yeah, I do. Okay, yep, so I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, the really entertaining personality from the Exploiter Orb. Number 5, the decent lore, so we get to go into the relationship of Rude Zud and the Exploiter Orb through the things that the Exploiter Orb actually did in order to basically murder a lot of people from Solaris United. So we also get some more insight into the feelings of people from Solaris United. And finally, of course, the not particularly long encounter when played with allies. So this has been a 20-minute fight. That's pretty decent, and it doesn't feel long. It doesn't feel like, say, a 20-minute survival mission where I actually fall asleep. Now, there's also one more thing that I didn't actually write down. For whatever reason, I forgot to write it down, and that is the rewards. Let's have a look at not necessarily all of the potential rewards, but the rewards that you're most likely going to get. 140 parallel biodes, 48 neural relays, 24 Sagan modules, 92 dissipator coils, 72 exabrain, 4 lazulite toroids, which are pretty good, 20 ecosynth analyzers, 28 lathe coagulants, ignore the circuits, 44 anoscopic sensors, ignore that, 136 noctral, which is pretty big, and yeah, those are the rewards that you can get from the Exploiter Orb. And the reason why this is really good is because this is a lot of like fish stuff, a lot of mining stuff, and there's also some pretty rare things that you can get from the Exploiter Orb. For example, a giant ton of parallel biodes. That's like that's Orokin stuff. That's an Orokin fish type thing, a servo fish, if you will. 136 noctral, dude, that is a rare gem right there. So yeah, being able to get 136 noctral, pretty good. You can also get things like not the purple gem, which I've actually momentarily forgotten what it's called. Let's just quickly go to Smokevinger.
Composite physical natures
don't freeze.
life expectancy. I fear I am simply too advanced in my
there we go.
years to
Okay.
be of any quantitative aid to the resistance.
Not today special, what am I
But
doing?
I will, of course,
You can get
do
quite a
my
lot
little
of
bit.
Fist,
If that
and you
is
can get quite a lot of
deemed
Zodian from the fight as well. You can also get quite a lot of Amarast. I have heaps and heaps of these rare gems now from fighting Exploiter. So yeah, you can get like you can also get the ephemera, and you can also get some other knickknacks, I think. The bottle, the actual model of the Exploiter Orb, you can get that as well. I haven't got those two things yet, but just getting all of those resources is really good. And I think I've already talked about one of the problems I don't like. One of the things I don't like about this is that the laser turret seems to maybe do too much damage, but I don't know, maybe not. That's just an opinion. And I guess the only other thing that is potentially bad about this fight is that the starting location of it is pretty far away from Fortuna. You do have to fly quite a bit in order to get to that corner of the map. Alright, that's it. Finally, I have an Exploiter Orb fight on my channel. Really happy about it. Hopefully we can see more of these kinds of fights, just like different mechanics, interesting personalities, lore related, etc, etc. Just more of this, and less less of the fashion victims become murder victims. Shenanigans. Yeah, alright, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. And as per usual, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!